Good morning, Ruchi. Good morning.
Good morning, Excellency, and all the participants. We were just waiting for our additional secretary, Mr. Sanjay Chadha, to be, joining us any moment.
Perfectly. Thanks.
Gurmeet,
Yeah. Should we start?
maybe we can have a quick round of introductions while we are waiting,
Certainly, that would be great.
with the permission of the ambassador.
Yes, please go ahead, Mr. Kohli.
Sir, if you permit, we can have a very quick round of introductions.
Yes, of course, please go ahead.
I'll start. Those who are not speaking can unmute because it will give a. Gurmeet?
Sir.
Yeah, it's better now. Good morning, Excellency. It's so good to see you here. And you are no stranger to ESC and IndiaSoft. You had been very kind to support us at several roadshows in Toronto, where you were the Consul General earlier. I'm Nalin Kohli for the benefit of other participants. I'm the past chairman of ESC and I chair IndiaSoft and GlobalSoft. And I will speak more when I get the opportunity. But while we are waiting for Mr. Sanjay Chadha, our additional secretary in Department of Commerce, we can have a quick round of introductions. Sir, I must apologize for our casual attire. It is 46 degrees in Delhi, centigrade.
I understand.
Sandeep, go ahead.
Mr. Narula.
Morning. See, I'm Sandeep Narula. Definitely, it's a great pleasure to be here. My sincere apologies for little delay.
I'm there, Mr. Narula. My apologies for joining late.
Sanjay Chadha is here. AS has joined. So maybe we can start now. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Excellency, with your permission, can we start now?
Good morning. You listen me well?
Yeah. So let us formally start today's session. His Excellency Mr. Dinesh Bhatia, Ambassador of India to Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay. Shri Sanjay Chadha ji, Additional Secretary, Ministry of Commerce, Government of India. Sandeep Narula ji, Chairman ESC. Nalin Kohli ji, past Chairman ESC. Senior Mauro Busso, Mr. General, Chamber of Software and IT Services Companies, Argentina. Alejandro Peña. Senior Sebastian Rodriguez from Chamber of Software and IT Services Companies, Argentina. Our industry friends, both from India and Argentina. Good morning to Argentina and very good evening to India. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all for this virtual business meet. Our sincere thanks to Shri Sanjay Chatterjee, Additional Secretary to the Government of India, Department of Commerce, for showing the way to organize this virtual meet digitally, which is the right way to promote ICT trade in these challenging times. Also, we are very grateful to Excellency Ambassador Shri Bhatia for very kindly agreeing to our request to interact with Indian ICT industry and share his vision and strategy for both the sides to promote trade and cooperation in the ICT sectors. Today's services, with their rising importance in the global economy, along with manufacturing, are becoming more vital for economic growth. It took centuries for the world's economies to shift from agriculture to manufacturing, but the rise of the services sector is occurring more quickly. The world is in the midst of radical shift, with the share of total output, world GDP, accounted for by services experiencing a sharp increase in almost all countries. This growth in services has likely transformed not only the composition of the world's economic production and employment, but potentially global trending patterns over the few decades. Our nation's competitiveness depends on the capacity of its industry to innovate and upgrade. Today, India has created a niche in IT services sector. India is a leading sourcing destination across the world. Indian IT and IT-enabled services companies have set up over 1,000 global delivery centers in almost 80 plus countries across the world. India has become the digital capabilities hub of the world with around 75% of global digital talent present in the country. India's IT's core competencies and strengths have attracted significant investments from major countries. The computer software and hardware sector in India attracted cumulative foreign direct investment inflows worth $43.58 billion between April 2000 December 2019 and ranks in the FDI inflow. Leading Indian IT firms like Infosys, Wipro, TCS, and Tech Mahindra are diversifying their offerings and showcasing leading ideas in blockchain, artificial intelligence, etc. to clients using innovation hubs, research and development centers in order to create differentiated offerings. At the same time, today, our electronics hardware and IT SMEs are also serving global clients with world-class innovative solutions at highly cost-effective cost and are open for business partnerships and collaborations. For today's events, we have 30 plus Indian ICT companies looking to join hands and partner with Argentinian companies for win-win situation. I'm sure that this initiative on both the sides will further ICT trade between the two countries. With these words, I won't take so much of a time and let's invite our past chairman and chairman IndiaSoft, Shri Nalin Kohli ji, to share his thoughts on promoting Indo-Argentina ICT trade. Thank you so much. Sir, kindly unmute yourself and take the mic.
Thank you, Gurmeet. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Excellency Shri Dinesh Bhatia ji, Shri Sanjay Chadha, Additional Secretary, Department of Commerce, Mr. Sandeep Narula, Chairman ESC, industry friends from India and Argentina. The general belief was that Latin America is very far from India and it is difficult to do trade. But I think in the software industry, distances don't matter. And in the Electronics and Software Export Council, we have always given a very special place to Latin America. As a result, we see a lot of delegates coming from Latin American countries to India Soft over the years. Mr. Bhatia, Ambassador Bhatia is actually, when he was in Toronto as the Consul General, he supported India Soft in a big way. And we are very lucky to have him here in Argentina because he understands the profile of our membership and what is possible by working together in the software industry. In fact, after his coming in Argentina, the last year, India Soft saw doubling of delegates from Argentina to India Soft. So friends from Argentina, what I would like to emphasize is that India is not only a good place for IT services, but now we are the third largest ecosystem for innovation and startups. And as a result of this COVID lockdown, a lot of new innovative solutions have started coming out. And I would encourage you to look at these new innovative solutions. Just for example, video conferencing, there are several Indian solutions available. And I'm sure when you are next in India Soft, you will be able to actually see many of them. In fact, even before that, those of you who are interested, we'll put you in touch with the Indian solution providers. Similarly, there have been major strides in electronics. People are working on healthcare, medical electronics, and many new solutions have come in that area. Another feature of IndiaSoft, which started last year, was adding GlobalSoft, because we were finding that there are people coming from so many countries, and trade can happen between not only an Indian company and an overseas company, but between various countries right there, because IndiaSoft has become a global platform now, and we encourage that. And therefore, for the first time, we invited foreign exhibitors in the area called GlobalSoft, which was co-located with IndiaSoft. And it was a very successful beginning. We had many companies, mainly from the US, but now those companies from Argentina who have a product, who may want to sell to other Latin American countries, you would find buyers right there. And I would encourage you to look at that opportunity, because IndiaSoft is the only small and mid-sized enterprise show for software industry in the world. So while it started it in India, but it has now become a global show, and we would like you to leverage that and take advantage of that. On behalf of ESC, there would be quality participation, as we always do every year, and more companies with solutions and software products would be displaying their products and solutions at the next India Soft. We are delighted with this opportunity to meet you over a video platform, and we can do much more of this as compared to physical travel. This has become the new norm. But many things which have actually been triggered by the pandemic, like telemedicine, as I said, there are new products which are coming from India, and video conferencing. In education space, we would encourage you to look at all that. And if we know your requirements and your interests, ESC will be very happy to put you in touch with the right companies on the Indian side. It's a pleasure to be here talking to you, and I look forward to taking on questions later. And I think I'll stop here and give time to others to speak. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kohli, for your kind inputs and sharing your vision. You are a visionary for sharing the IndiaSoft event. We recently had a 20th edition, which is a flagship event for the council. Thank you so much for your leadership and sharing your thoughts today. Now, may I request Excellency Mr. Dinesh Bhatia ji, Ambassador, to kindly address the gathering. Thank you so much. Shri Excellency Ambassador Mr. Dinesh Bhatia ji.
Thank you, Gurmeet. A very good evening to all the participants from India. Y muy buenos días para todos aquí en Argentina. Very good morning to everyone in Argentina. It is a pleasure to be back with the Electronics and Software Council because I have dealt with them for a long time, particularly when I was Council General in Toronto. And I'm happy to see very familiar faces, particularly Mr. Kohli is here. And we have interacted for a long time to get more participation in IndiaSoft. At that time from Canada, and when I came here last year, this year we tried to get participation from Argentina and Uruguay. And I'm glad that more than 60 participants participated from here, from Argentina, in the IndiaSoft program of the flagship program of Electronics and Software Council, Promotion Council. Interestingly, many of them were stranded in India because they decided to prolong their stay for some other reasons. And finally, when the flights got cancelled from India, India and Argentina both went into lockdown. Many of them got stranded, but finally they are back last week. And currently they are undergoing a quarantine period of 14 days in Argentina. I'm happy to see them back. In fact, a couple of them are here in this video conference today. I want to acknowledge the presence of my colleague, Mr. Sanjay Chadha, Additional Secretary of the Commerce Ministry, and also the current president of ESC, Mr. Narula, and also some friends from Argentina, particularly from CC, Mr. Mauro Musso, Mr. Alejandro Peña, Mr. Sebastian Rodriguez, Globant, I can see Nestor is here. Hola, Nestor. Great, good to see you. Now, India and Argentina at the platform of IT and software are not something like stranger to each other. We have known each other for a long time. We have been working with each other. We have presence of Indian companies in Argentina. And I have to name a few, I would say, to begin with, of course, TCS, Wipro, Infosys, Tech Mahindra, and Tech Mahindra is another subsidiary of called Comviva. Then we have Cognizant in the huge presence, and then Aegis, SR, and another credit rating company called Crescent, which has a huge presence in Argentina. These are on the tech side, and of course, Globant from Argentina has a huge presence in India. More than 1,000 people are employed by Globant in India. Then, of course, Mercado Libre, OLX has a presence in India. So, what I want to convey is that we have been working with each other, but perhaps not to the fullest potential that exists between India and Argentina. In fact, let me take a diversion and go to Uruguay, because Uruguay has a huge presence of TCS, and they employ more than 1,600 employees in Uruguay, out of which just about 500 are Indians, little less than 500 at the moment, and the rest are all local Uruguayan employees. And the presence of TCS well acknowledged in Uruguay, not at the people-to-people level, but even at the government level. When I called on the new foreign minister of Uruguay, he did acknowledge the presence of TCS in Uruguay, which is mutually beneficial to TCS, to India, as well as to Uruguay. But similar thing somehow has not happened in Argentina, it seems. We do have a presence of Cognizant, it's a large presence in Argentina, but besides that, if I look at the other Indian corporates in IT sector, somehow our presence has been less than what is expected of Indian IT companies. I have a long statistics here. My team, in fact, I forgot to introduce my team. I have Mr. Maitri Kulkarni heading the commercial wing of the embassy, the first secretary, and Mr. Balji Nagar, second secretary, is here also here with me. And then I have my local staff from the commercial team. They have worked very hard to give me these statistics. But I find that these statistics were prepared before the present pandemic began. And the pandemic since March has changed the entire world. It has changed the way we think, the way we operate, the way we are interacting with each other. Because in a normal course, I would love to have this kind of meeting in person, whether in Argentina or in India, and have everybody get together on single platform with physical presence. But because of the pandemic, the travel has become almost impossible. And I hope in next few days, next few weeks, things will ease up. Things will become, I would say, better, more normal as we consider normal. And we will be able to interact with each other physically, because there is no replacement of human interaction. The digital space, of course, is very important. And as I see the world now, the digital space is going to assume more and more importance in the growing world. In the post-COVID world, we'll have more applications, more apps, more digital presence, application of IT in every sphere of life, as with something like which we had not even dreamt of. That's my feeling at this point of time. And irrespective whether I want to meet physically everyone, we will have to survive with the digital technologies, more and more digital technologies for times to come. And therefore, the role of the IT industry, the software industry, becomes very important. And that's how I think India and Argentina have a huge potential, and in the post-COVID world, even more potential to collaborate with each other. We should look at the size of the market. India is the size of over 1 billion people, 1.3 billion people, whereas Argentina is just about 45 million people. But Argentina is a very important market in Latin America. It's one of the top 3 economies in Latin America, and also part of the G20. Argentina, in spite of its financial woes at this point of time, it's struggling to have settlements with its creditors. But I hope it will see better days, which it has seen after every crisis. And I have been saying that every crisis is an opportunity for all of us. But this crisis of COVID is an opportunity, particularly for IT companies and software companies, to expand their business. How do you do it? Because I'm not a technical expert. If I talk about how you do it, I'll be showing light to the sun. So my suggestion is that you think about it, and the possibilities are immense. That's what I feel sitting here in Argentina, that for Indian IT companies, there are immense possibilities in Argentina. And likewise, for Argentine companies who have transcended their businesses and have moved out of Argentina and doing businesses, particularly in India, there are huge possibilities. So my humble suggestion is, let's look at the possibilities, let's create the options, and start interacting with each other at the level of these kind of conferences, even at the level of sort of bilateral company-to-company process, if we can do that. And then, of course, the message is here to help out both the sides, the Argentine side. If Argentine companies need any information about the potential or the companies, or in particular any business in India, we'll be happy to provide. Likewise, Indian companies are welcome to contact us any point of time. I will request Mr. Gurmeet Singh ji to circulate our email address, which is part of, I think, of the program that was circulated. We have an email address for our commercial wing. Please get in touch with us if you need more information, clarifications, or whatever it may be. We are there to help you out. Our objective is to see that India and Argentina collaborate in the areas where there have been not much of collaboration, and IT and digital services are one of those services. So with these few words, I'll give the floor back to Mr. Singh, Mr. Kohli, and I'm looking forward to hearing from all other colleagues and the industry leaders, and let us see what we can achieve out of this. Thank you very much for a patient hearing. Thankful to you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your very valuable inputs and scope for Indian and cooperation between India and Argentina in the ICT sector. I'm sure that the ICT trade between the two countries will reach new heights in the time to follow under your leadership. We have amongst us Mr. Sanjay Chadha, Additional Secretary to the Government of India, Ministry of Commerce, who's very instrumental in promoting trade and cooperation from the Indian side, and very encouraging to all the industry here. So, sir, may I kindly invite you to kindly address the gathering here? Shri Sanjay Chadha ji. Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gurmeet. At the outset, I'd like to thank Shri Narula, Shri Kohli, and Mr. Gurmeet Singh for taking this good initiative of using the digital platform for this interaction. I would also like to thank Ambassador Dinesh Bhatia and his team for such proactive support being provided for the businesses on both sides. Thank you very much. I just start on a little anecdote which I read in one of the MEA archives. I believe that in 1943, India set up a trade commission in Argentina, which in 1949 was converted into our first embassy in one of the first embassies in South America. So the Trade Commission even preceded the present form of the embassy. But on a more serious note, I would just like to say that we all understand that the digital trade is there to grow. There has been a sudden push which this COVID epidemic has given digital trade. We all know that companies like Zoom, companies which deal with video conferences, have suddenly huge business potentials which have come their way. But we are forgetting that even electronics is moving so fast that in another 3 years, it is likely to displace oil as the most traded commodity on earth. So having said that, I would just like to say that, with Argentina, we have a free trade agreement with Mercosur, of which Argentina is a part. But our trade potential is much more than the actual trade which is taking place. We've been hovering at around $3 billion of total trade. But the potential is substantially more. And that untapped potential is there also hugely in this segment of electronics and software communications. On the electronic side, I would like to say that while we know that TCS and Wipro have offices in Argentina, but there is a lot of untapped potential which is there in our mid-segment MSME companies. And these mid-segment MSME companies also hold the key to building up a substantial electronics, power-based manufacturing, software. These are areas where MSMEs can play a huge role in meeting the market ends. It's not just the big guys. So I would like that, Global Soft and India Soft are such good platforms where these MSMEs can interact with one another, that a lot of more meaningful business can be done. So we needn't just think of only the big guys in IT. We have to look at MSMEs where there is a huge untapped potential which needs to be harnessed. I will not take much time with statistics and figures. I would only, on a small personal note, say that when I was a very young officer who had just joined the service, I remember seeing my first World Cup in which Diego Maradona weaved his magic and beat a very strong Brazilian side to lift the World Cup. And we got hooked on to football from that. So I hope our engagements would also lead to more cooperation and more engagements in football. I missed the opportunity to meet Diego Maradona when he came to India in 2009, but I'm a huge fan. And I'll end on that note. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words of encouragement and sharing your vision to promote the MSME sector of India. For both the countries, it's a win-win situation, both for Argentinian side and the Indian MSMEs to come together and do more business and cooperation in the ICT sector. Thank you so much, sir. May I now invite Mr. Mauro Busso, along with his colleague Alejandro Peña from the Chamber of Software and IT Services Companies to address the gathering. Kindly unmute yourself.
Very good morning for us and very good evening for you guys down there in India. I will put my timer and I will ask Alejandro also to join me on this presentation. I will do this really quick, and I will show you some presentation if you allow me to present. Let me see if I can do it. And can you hear me well, loud and clear?
Yes, please.
Hello?
Yeah, yes, please. You're good.
Okay,
Mauro.
thank you very much to the ambassador, secretary, and all of you guys for inviting us to this opportunity. As much as we hear so far, uh, I think that we are upon all the information that you share already. And let me show you some numbers, some digits from Argentina that maybe will put you a little bit clear how we are so far in the Argentinian software industry. First of all, I will try to do this, and it doesn't go through the presentation. Please allow me to do the presentation, please. Gurmeet, did you touch anything on your? Okay,
Yeah, please carry on.
here we go again. Okay, go. So, first of all, the software industry in Argentina represents more or less a year revenue of $3.7 billion and export about 1.9 billion dollars in export. The employment so far reached out to 115,000 people employed in our industry, and the export year by year during the last 10 years increased about 7.2 percent, and the employment 4.4 year by year, the increase in the last 10 years. Ceci, we are really proud to represent 1.4 companies, 1.4 thousand companies in the industry of Argentina, and about 35 clusters all across Argentina, and 80% of the industry represented by our chamber here in Argentina. Well, so we are really proud of that representation. If we think about the last year evolution of our numbers, we increase our total sales in a 15.5% in pesos. And although there's a negative number in foreign income, we are absolutely sure that it doesn't represent the reality, because in the volume we are pretty much sure that we increase our volume of export. However, the macroeconomic situation makes this number to reduce to 9.4%. And finally, we continue to grow, as we mentioned before. The employment last year increased 6.9, but still the demand of our employment or talent was about 12% among the years. Let me go through. We are really proud so far to say that in Argentina, we are the third position in the export of Argentina, being the first place for cereals, soybean the second, and the knowledge, as we know, and we represent in the third place. So, and the third place is despite that we are the knowledge economy, we represent almost 30% of this knowledge economy in Argentina, with about, as I mentioned before, $2 billion per year. If we have to compare ourselves in between what we develop and what we really export, we can say that Argentina is for export against the numbers of Brazil that only export 4% of their revenue, Colombia 25, Argentina export 40% of the total revenue that we deliver year by year. The main markets where we explore and we export our product is in US, as you see the number, 59% is a huge amount of our exportation to that market. Then Latin America with all the countries is at 29, and finally Europe and Asia Pacific is about 12%. So we have a huge export opportunity to explore that market, and maybe this meeting is the touch point and the breaking point to explore and increase our exportation to maybe Asia Pacific. Following with the presentation, are we clear so far? I think yes, right? Alejandro, do you have anything to add so far? You are mute. You are mute, Ale. There you are.
Here we are. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, and Mr. Chada, Mr. Singh, to make this IC cooperation meeting. I think it's very important. And maybe let me introduce something very interesting. We are looking, Mr. Mauro said, to export service and software made into to the US. But we think that we have a very interesting Spanish market that is about 550 million people, including Spain. So in America, there are three languages: English, Portuguese from Brazil, and Spanish from all the rest of the country. So we have a market, huge market, about 550 million people to go through. And as you see, we don't have enough presence in Europe. We don't have presence in Asia Pacific. And we know very well all the Indian capability about software, that you are the first country about exportation service. So you have to think about the market, that we only have Argentina, and also we are looking to the Spanish market. The main vertical market that we have present in financial service with 36% software service, and this is almost 80% of the market or the main vertical market that we are going through. Go through, Mauro, please. Go to the next.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ali. I will continue to do this. I think that we have about 3 minutes left. So as Alejandro mentioned before, our main market or vertical market where we explore, we sell our service and product is financial services, followed by software service, which means that we use our main software to support other software industries and all the others, as you can see in the slide. Moving forward with this presentation, our main agreement during the 2019 were the Mercosur agreement and the Europe economical agreement that we signed up, and we now in the process of activate and proceed with this economic agreement that we are pretty much sure that will benefit our industry to continue to export. Following with the main achievements last year, as you may know, and maybe the ambassador can also explain this, we got the approval for a very important law for us, for the parliament, from the parliament, that we are pretty much sure that will stabilize the economy for our industry for the next 10 years. That is really, really important to do some forecasts. Continuing with this, some of the remarks for Argentina is we are a natural hub with Latin America and United States due to the time where we are located. We have a high certification in quality. It's about 70%, 75% of the companies are certified in any of those ISO or wherever you can see it. We have a huge broadband coverage. We'll focus on this before. And as I mentioned before, the fiscal benefits and the government leverage that is considered our industry to maybe move the economy before this to the COVID-19. Moving forward, let me see it. As I mentioned before, we have a huge coverage in the broadband access, and almost 90% of our country is covered by broadband access, mobile or fixed. We have 130% of our population has a mobile users, and I think all these numbers give us a huge opportunity due to the coverage and the possibility that Argentina has to continue operating. Uh, Finally, Argentina in technology, as you might know, Argentina was considered in 2019 as the first place in technology in the Coursera Global Skill Index. That is very important for us because we are now really, really good in the radar globally. Finally, the strategic plan for 2013 we developed and delivered last year, a strategic plan that has a main agreement is to reach out to 500,000 employees in 2030, 20 billions in revenue, 10 billions in export, and most of it being in the third place in the worldwide digital index. Finally, as you might know, we have in Argentina, in our industry, 5 of the unicorns. I really appreciate Nestor Nocetti that is joining us in this meeting. He is one of the owners for Global, that is one of the unicorns in Argentina. And finally, if you don't like the unicorns, as Mr. Sanjay mentioned before, we have a couple of master Messi and Maradona that can also reach out in Argentina. Isn't no more to inform for myself. Alejandro, if you have something to add to these lovely people here, go ahead, please.
No, Mauro, I think you have made a very interesting presentation. So I don't think that I have anything else to add. So if you guys have any question, please go ahead. We will pleasure to try to answer those ones.
Thank you very much, Ale.
Oh, thank you.
Any question to do? Again, I want to really thank the ambassador, the secretary, Gurmit for this invitation and for the coordination of this meeting. I really hope we can continue to explore possibilities to do some business and most of it, the relationship in between both of our countries in this particular industry of software. Thank you so much, guys, for the invitation.
Gracias, Senor Busso and Senor Peña, for sharing very important information and insights on the Argentinian ICT industry. We feel that there can be more opportunities and synergies to work together for both the sides to create niches for the third world markets, and we are looking forward to having more cooperation, signing up of a MOU with you, and so that both the sides can be put together at a platform and we can work further to promote trade and cooperation in the ICT sectors. Now, may I request my colleague, Mr. Vikas Gupta, to quickly, in view of the short time, to quickly share, although we have already shared the Indian side's profiles with all the companies here, but may I request Mr. Gupta to kindly present the brief profiles of Indian companies. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Gurmeet. Good morning to everyone in Argentina and good evening to everyone in India. I will read out the names and core competencies of the Indian companies who are participating in this meeting. Well, we have a company 01 Synergy, who is into web and mobile apps. And we have Skills Tech Initiatives and Ventures Public Limited, who are into web applications, mobile apps, both for Android and iPhone, and solutions for education systems. Thermosun Technologies Private Limited is into temperature sensors, and they're also manufacturing NTC thermistors. West Coast Paper Mills Limited is into optical fiber product development. IQ Technolabs Incorporation, they are into ERP solutions. Datalink Industrial Corporation, they are manufacturer of compatible laser toner cartridges, keyboards, mouse, spike busters, and surge protectors. We have Tesca Technologies Private Limited, who are manufacturing COVID safety products, and this is a very old company in educational training equipments. CompuCare India Private Limited is offering Industry 4 based automation solutions, production monitoring solutions, utility monitoring solutions. The India Inc. Can help you in growing business by digital marketing in the preferred country. Astra Projects is manufacturing and exporting RF antennas and RF related products, power amplifiers, power dividers, defense equipment, LED products, and solar products. Tech2Globe Web Solutions is into e-commerce, website development, mobile application development. Neosoft Technologies is also a very old company, and they are manufacturing all kind of software and solutions. Everest IMS Technologies Private Limited is into products in network and infra management, help desk, service management, telecom management, and network automation. AM WebTech Private Limited is again into IT services and solutions. MobioCart India Private Limited is exporting mobile devices. ITSC Technologies Private Limited is into ERP systems, solutions for hospital management, information systems, telemedicine solutions, material management systems, IT and IoT solutions for governance. The Mint Solutions is a company, they are into artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, and e-commerce. ESSPL, they are into SCM and smart logistics. Roo Technology is into mobile apps for both iOS and Android, web development, facial recognition software, emotion recognition, cloud-based ERP, cloud maintenance. Intelligent Technologies into custom app development, Microsoft Dynamics, mobile device management, fleet management software, POS solutions, supply chain management. Prajatech is offering ITES and BPO services. CyberShift Infotech Private Limited, they are into software development, web application, third-party integration, land acquisition management, CSR, project progress monitoring, and so many other things. Hindustan Industrial Research Private Limited, they are into SaaS business, enterprise automation, ERPs, cloud computing, and BPM. SGen Ventures Limited, they are into app development, SaaS development, web apps, digital marketing. Rapid Flow is into product implementation. Atlanta Systems Private Limited, they are offering IoT solutions and hardware. And that's all. And for any B2B requirement in electronics and software sector, you're most welcome to contact Electronics and Software Export Promotion Council, and the email address is given over here, esc@escindia.com. Thank you very much. Over to Gurmeet.
Thank you, Vikas, for really quickly taking us around the profile of Indian side. Now we are looking forward to the similar presentation by Sebastian Rodriguez, Global Markets from the Argentinian IT Association. May I request Mr. Sebastian Rodriguez to share their profiles, please?
Thank you very much. Can you listen okay?
Yeah, you're good.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Good morning and good evening to everyone. Thank you all for inviting us to be part of this. We're really grateful to be here. Hope to make the best of it in these difficult times. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, Mr. Singh, Kohli, Chada, and Gupta. I hope I'm pronouncing them all right. And something regarding, I would like to say about what Mr. Chada said. that he's a very big fan of Maradona. I would like to say that that makes 500 million of us. So thank you very much. Well, as Mauro and Alejandro showcased, we have an ever-growing and innovative IT sector in Argentina. So we have invited today some of our companies. They are members of the Argentina IT Network, which is our internationalization program. I don't have a presentation, but what I'll do is copy the links of every website here in the chat, so you can go checking them as I speak. There it goes. Okay. I'll make it in alphabetical order. I have just 5 minutes, so it'll be very, very quick. And you'll realize that I'll be reading some of this because I don't have it by memory. First, we have Asante IT, hereby represented by Carolina Tomasi, which delivers IT solutions and services to assist companies reach their maximum potential and stay at the forefront of success. First, building high-performance product development teams, Asante IT works on a build, operate, transfer model or directly building an in-house team. Big data analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning and DevOps are the three main solutions they provide. And finally, it's really good to note that Pablo Abdian, which is the other founder of Asante, was a data partner for Argentina 15 years ago. So he knows how to work along with Indians pretty much. Then we have a BP4, represented here by Christian Bernardinelli, which is an agile and innovative company in web and mobile development. BP4 has been on the market for more than 9 years now. Their current clients are in the banking sector, Banco Macro, First Data, Banco Tucumán, Banco Superville. Some of them, like Banco Macro, might not ring a bell for Indian companies, but it's one of the biggest in Argentina. And also in the health sector, Omint Group, the French company, I think it's French, and Hospital Italiano, which means Italian hospital here in Buenos Aires, which is one of the main ones. What they offer is a complete telemedicine solution for healthcare institutions like hospitals, medical centers, and medical offices that integrates seamlessly with the actual process of physical presence, virtualizing everything: appointments, third-party payers payments, patient admission, physician consultation, and medication management. So I think it goes pretty along with what we are going through now these days. Then we have a Consensus Group, the company of Alejandro, who's here in the double role with Ceci and his own company. Consensus is an innovative and flexible software company delivering development services such as staff augmentation, dedicated teams, outsourcing, programming, and coding in Agile and Scrum, business solutions apps, machine learning, AI, R&D, and lab services. And finally, they have a pretty strong consulting department. Then we have Globant, represented by its CEO and founder, Nestor Nocetti, which is here in this video call. Globant might not need any introduction, being the #1 software company in Argentina, with offices all over the world, including India, in Pune, if I'm not mistaken. What they do, well, we should ask ourselves what they don't do, but it's mainly deliver engineering, innovation, and design at great scale. You can check the website for more info. Then we have Pampa BI. Mauro Palmitesta is here joining us. A company based in Argentina, Chile, and the US that delivers SAP technology services. They provide finance, logistics, maintenance, and sales solutions, mobile, staff augmentation, but mainly everything through SAP technology. And last but not least, it's a phrase I learned at school, that was last but not least. We have Team Quality, a company with 30 years of experience. They are experts on developing platforms for payment processing and management, back office for issuers with a team of specialists and consultants. TQ platforms includes issuing and acquiring solutions for credit cards, prepaid cards, loyalty, debit, and social cards, among other payment methods, including E2E services, business consulting, approval support with Visa, MasterCard, and Amex. GQ clients are industries such as banking and retail sectors, payment card processors, fintechs, and financial companies. That will be all. Again, you can check the information on the website. We can send you more information on any of these companies. And I am available from our chamber. In any case, you need to make any inquiries on the IT sector and our more than 1,700 companies that are members. So thank you very much, everyone. That will be all. Thanks.
Thank you, Senor Sebastian Rodriguez, for sharing very quickly the profile of Argentine Insights. And I'll be grateful if you can just share your email ID on the chat box so that we can, our companies can, get in touch with you after once this digital meet is over. So you really shared, and you are a very important person for us. And we will make sure that we keep troubling you with more information and more cooperation in the ICT sector. So that's now may I request our chairman, Mr. Sandeep Narula, who's our chairman for the Electronics and Computer Software Export Promotion Councils. We are a body representing the Indian ICT sector, sponsored by the Government of India. We have over 2,300 ICT exporters from the country, both representing the hardware as well as the software sector. May I request Mr. Sandeep Narula to kindly sum up today's briefings, and then we can open the floor for the Q&A. Mr. Sandeep Narula. I guess Mr. Narula has lost the connection. Maybe we can request Mr. Nalin Kohli to sum up. Kohli Sahab, always a savior for us.
Thank you, Gurmeet.
Sandeep has also joined.
Let Sandeep do it, please.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hola, Argentina. Namaste, India. In terms of geographical size, Argentina and India are very close. While Argentina is number 8, India is at number 7. But in terms of population, there is a huge difference. India is about 1.3 billion, while Argentina is 450 million. And there comes the scope for synergy. While Argentina enjoys a lot of rich resources, natural resources, India has got huge economical, talented manpower, which can add value to both of our countries. Having said so, we have taken the initiative to bridge the gap between the two countries. As Mr. Nalin Kohli pointed out, that we started the global version of our India Soft, Global Soft, which has attracted huge number of companies from world over to tap the Indian market and also look at various options which India can provide in terms of going global. Thank you, Your Excellency Ambassador, for supporting the India Soft and Global Soft version right from Canada. As you said, the TCS has large presence in that part of world. We definitely look for presence for our MSME companies in Argentina, which can be a gateway to the Latin America market. Mr. Sanjay Chadha pointed out he has taken deep into the history of India-Argentina relationship starting from 1940s. I did not know it. I'm thankful. But I must say one thing on this soccer input. All through, India has been following and India has been supporting Argentina as far as the soccer is concerned. So whenever there was a match between Brazil and Argentina, I don't know, there was a natural feeling to support Argentina. So I hope that feeling, that sync remain there between India and Argentina as far as the business is concerned. So Macro Busso has taken us deep into the economy of Argentina and given us the great insight. Quick drive to Argentina, and we are impressed. We hope that all our member companies will be able to take use of the data which has been provided by you. And based on that input, we probably have a better strategy, better plan of action for doing business with Argentina. A lot of our companies are here participating in the exhibition. I will just let you know, in view of the COVID-19 pandemic, we are planning to have two versions of our exhibitions, our flagship program, that is India Soft and IoT. The physical event will be organized in the month of February 2021. And we also plan to have the virtual event maybe in the month of August and September. Similarly, this year we have decided to have one more IoT show, assuming that IoT is one of the big area and big thrust for the economy to push. With 50 billion devices likely to be there by 2025, it is a big business opportunity where we feel that Argentina and India can cope. The IoT show is like it's first on the priority, and this is our first B2B dedicated event with Argentina. So with this, I will look forward for the country. And thanks for Dinesh Bhatia, sir, Sanjay Chadha, Mr. Nalin Kohli, Mr. Mauro Busso, Mr. Sebastian Rodriguez. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Mrs. Narula, for summing up today's session. Now, I think we have running short of time, but we can quickly, take, although we have seen companies from both the sides are discussing business over the chat box. But still, I think if we can take very quick 2-3 questions. So maybe
Gurmeet,
start one by one. Sure, sir. Please.
I have a small point. Senor Busso, that was a great presentation. And many of your companies visit India Soft. I'm just curious how you people look at potential areas of growth in terms of digital cooperation between the two countries. Because you have come here, you have seen our industry, you've seen the competencies and the skills that Indian software professionals have. So where do you see areas of growth where we can cooperate? What do you feel would be the right business models, particularly for the small and mid-sized companies?
Thank you for the question. Yeah, I can give you my impression about this. However, maybe some of the folks that are join us on this meeting can reach out to that question better than me. Maybe Nestor, if you allow that now, you can answer that question due to your experience in both markets, Indian and Argentinian. Nestor, can you hear us?
Yeah, thank you, Mauro. I think that there is a lot of opportunities to continue doing business in Argentina and between India. We got, as you may know, we got big for us for Latin America, more than 1,000 people working there in Pune, and we think that it's a lot of possibility to. Let's say, transmit our Western culture and our innovation to India. I mean, there isn't that in India there is not innovation. There are a lot, but there is some opportunities mainly about the time zone and the opportunities to be working more close to the offshore destinations here in around LATAM, namely America and Europe. And I think that is a great opportunity for Indian companies. In fact, there are a lot of companies based here in Latin America also. To have a alternative hub of development centers here to be more close to our customers. Having said that, I think that there is also a lot of opportunity. The culture between LATAM and India is not so dissimilar. There are more points in common than points of difference. So for us, it was a great learning cycle, the great opportunity to learn a lot about India. Myself, I traveled 3 or 4 times there. And I'm willing that when this pandemic situation all over the world ends, I think that we could exchange more closely these opportunities and could foster this community between Argentina, LATAM, and India. Thank you so much.
Just a supplementary, you mentioned you have some operations in Pune. What is the main driver? Why do you need a offshore in India?
Because for sure, as one of you already said, that India it's the big destination to be there. To be, if you want to be relevant in the software world, for sure that you need to be in India. I think that there is a lot of commitment from the government, for all the industry, for all the companies, and you know they got very good talent people there. And again, it is a no-brainer for a company with when you got some scale to go there to India. In fact, we look around in many different countries in Southeast Asia, and for sure that we end in India. But having said that, we end in India because we find a company, a very small company. At that time, there was around 300 people. A very small company which got a culture very similar to us, to our global culture. So it was 5 years ago. So we didn't start Greenfield there, but we bought a company with a very good relation. We could make a very good relationship between the founders of that company and us, and we are pretty happy when things turned out there. So as I say, we are now more than 1,000 people, and we are we got plans to keep growing there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I just had a point to make, Gurmeet Singh ji. If everybody can hear me.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
right. Just to add, the ambassador had to leave a little while ago because there was an urgent commitment which came up. Also from the embassy, I just wanted to convey that we are really glad that the conditions as they exist right now because of COVID have not stopped us from bringing businesses from both sides together. That was the prime motive of organizing today's event, led by ESC and supported by the embassy. Especially IT where distance doesn't matter, bringing together businesses in the B2B format. And I'm really glad to see in the chat section of the webinar of WebEx that we already have a B2B going on. There are companies presenting their profiles and there are companies from the other side taking note. What I would request is if Mr. Gupta could send us the presentation of the company profiles, and also if Mr. Rodriguez can send us a small brief of the companies that he presented, we will send it to the other chambers so that they can spread it among their companies, and this will be the next logical step of today's event in the terms of a B2B actually happening virtually. Thank you.
No problem. We'll share the information on both on the IT sector of Argentina and the companies that were present here. So you'll have it shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.
That would be really great. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I think we are running late, and it's the time to say bye to both the sides. I would like to propose a vote of thanks. It is indeed my pleasure to propose a hearty vote of thanks to all the esteemed guests and participants in today's webinar. The enriching address by our esteemed dignitaries have been truly interesting and enlightening. Excellency, Ambassador Bhatia ji, it has been a privilege listening to you, and I hope that the ICT trade between the two countries will reach new heights under your dynamic leadership. I would also like to thank Shri Sanjay Chatterjee for supporting us and motivating us in all our endeavors, which are resulting in propelling India's ICT exports globally. I would also like to thank Mr. Kohli, Mr. Sandeep Narula for providing us insights and leadership within the council. And also my sincere thanks to our Argentinian sides, Senior Mauro Busso, Director General from the Argentinian IT Association, Mrs. Alejandro Peña, Mr. Sebastian Rodriguez, and all the team that we have in our Embassy of India. They were quite helpful and really interacting with us to make this wonderful seminar happen. And finally, my thanks to all my members and industry on both the sides. Hope that today's meet will create a strong binding for growth. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining this evening. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much, Gurman. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much.